Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to have the second lesson from Third Intermediate, Upstream 3, Unit 7. Let's start our lesson. Lesson 7C, is that enough? Objectives of our lesson. To classify some countable and countable nouns. To use quantifiers with countable and uncountable nouns correctly. To write sentences about countable and uncountable nouns with quantifiers. These are the three objectives we are going to achieve today. Countable and uncountable. Let's introduce some nouns related to countable and uncountable nouns. For example, lemons, salt, eggs, bread, tomatoes, coffee. These are some examples of nouns related to countable and uncountable. Let's go to the next slide. Here we have a table. We are going to classify the previous nouns to these groups. We have countable nouns and we have uncountable nouns. Let's find out. For example, in the countable nouns group, we have lemons, tomatoes, eggs. As you notice, these are the nouns we can count. For example, I have 2 lemons or 3 lemons or more. Also tomatoes and eggs. Let's go to the second group. Uncountable nouns, which is bread, salt, coffee. We cannot count these nouns. Task number 1. As I explained to you that we have 2 groups, countable and uncountable. Countable nouns, the words we can count. Uncountable nouns, the nouns we cannot count. Let's go through the types of food we have here together. Milk, cereal, meat, ketchup, apple, water, salt, banana, pear, bread, peas, cheese, peach, yogurt, mango, mustard, lobster, salmon, potato, juice. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about these nouns and try to classify them into 2 groups. model answers. In the countable group or nouns, we have peach, apple, potato, mango, pear, lobster, banana, peas. All these types of food we can count. Uncountable nouns: water, bread, yogurt, juice, milk, salmon, cheese, salt, meat, cereal, yogurt, ketchup, and mustard. We will go to the second part of our lesson. Quantifiers. Have you ever heard the word quantifiers, or it comes from where? Maybe some of you will say, yes, I've heard this word before, or it's related to a word I know. Let's find out. I'm sure some of you know what's the meaning of this word. Again, countable, uncountable. Yes, quantifier, something related when you want to tell or talk about the quantity of noun, or countable food, or uncountable food, or any noun in general. Quantifier, it's from the word quantity, means the number, means the how much or how many. Let's find what are the quantifiers family. Let's start with the countable. We have the word some, and I'm sure most of you know the word some. Any, many, no, few, a lot of. These are the quantifier words I can use with countable. For example, I have some lemons. Or, I have few tomatoes. And this one, the peas. Do you have any peas? From my example, when I say, do you have any peas? It means any, I use it with the questions. Let's go to the second group, uncountable nouns. These are the quantifier words I can use with the uncountable nouns. Some, any, much, no, little, a lot of. Let's look at the examples we have here. We have nuts. For example, do you have any nuts? Or how much nuts do you have? This is a bread. I have little bread. And this is coffee. How much coffee do you need? These are the examples of the quantifiers, and how do we use them with a countable group or uncountable group. Are you ready for some practice, my lovely students? Let's practice, which is task 2. Take the quantifiers which are used with the right countable and uncountable nouns. You have a table here with columns, countable, uncountable, positive sentences, negative sentences, interrogative sentence, which is the questions. Here are the quantifier words I already introduced in the previous slide. Some, any, much, many, a lot of, few, little, no. I'll give you 2 minutes to try to take the right column. These are the answers. For some, I can use the quantifier some, countable, uncountable, positive sentence, interrogative sentence, as I told you in a question. Check your answers with me while I'm clicking the answers, please. Any, countable, I can use it with countable. Is there any tomatoes? Uncountable, also I can use it in a question. Negative sentence. And interrogative sentence, which is the question. Let's go to the third one, much. Uncountable. Negative sentence. And interrogative sentence, which is the question. Many, countable. I use it with the countable nouns. Negative and interrogative sentence. A lot of, I can use it with countable, uncountable, positive sentence. Few, I can use it with countable and positive sentence. Little, I use it with uncountable, positive sentence. No, I can use it with countable. For example, there are no bananas. Uncountable, there is no coffee. And positive sentences. Now we will have more practice. Don't worry, we will have more practice using quantifiers with the countable and uncountable nouns. Let's start our practice. I want you now to think using quantifier word with countable noun. Okay, I'll give you the example because these are the practice. We are going to do it together now. We have to buy a lot of eggs. As you can see, the S is red in eggs. It means it's countable. I can use it singular or plural. Another practice. I want to use quantifier with uncountable. I bought some chocolate yesterday. Chocolate, what do you think? Is it countable or uncountable? It's uncountable. When can I say the chocolate is countable? When I use it as a bar. I have 1 bar chocolate. I have 2 bars of chocolate. So here it's uncountable. I bought some chocolate yesterday. Quantifier with uncountable. How much milk do you need? Again, how can I make the milk countable? When I put it in a bottle, for example, how many bottles of milk do you need? But here it's only milk. I count it as uncountable. Quantifier with uncountable. There is only a little water left in the fridge. Again, it's the same as milk. If I want to count water as countable, I put it in bottle. I say there are only few bottles of water left in the fridge, for example. Quantifier, positive sentence. She has few tomatoes in her kitchen. There are no bananas in the grocery. Again, bananas countable. I can use no. If I want to use no, can I use it with uncountable? Of course, yes. For example, there is no anymore. For example, there is no coffee in the cupboard, for example. More practice. We don't have any milk. As you can see, I use any with negative. We don't have any milk. I use any in a negative sentence. More to go with the practice. There aren't many peas in the can. More practice. How much coffee do you need? Is there any salt left? This is what we call it interrogative sentence, which is the question. Now, assessment. We had lots of practice together. Write the correct quantifier in the right place. You have 5 sentences, and I gave you 2 quantifier words. Choose the right quantifier in the right place. You have to check if your noun is countable or uncountable. And also you have to check if your sentence is positive, negative, integrative, which is a question, or sentence. I'll give you 2 minutes to do this assessment. Now, let's check the answers. There are some lemons in the kitchen. Why I cannot use any here? Because the sentence is not negative. Number 2. Yes. How many oranges do we need? Why not much? Because oranges countable. Excellent. Let's go to number 3. Is there any tea left? Why no? Because it's a question. I use any with a question. Let's go to number 4. There are a lot of peas left. Peas countable. I cannot use much with it. Last sentence. Don't put too much sugar in the tea. We know that sugar, again, it's uncountable. We use much with uncountable. I hope that you have all of them right. Even though it's not, you have a mistake, no problem. You can practice again and again and go back to the previous slides. Let's go to task 3. Write 6 sentences using countable and uncountable nouns with the quantifiers we introduced. You can do it as I did here in this slide as a table, or you can just write your own sentences. I want you to use or practice using all the quantifiers, but I give you here some examples. Some, no, much, many, few, little. You have 2 minutes to do this task before I click to check your answers. Now, are you ready to check your answers? Here we are. These are just suggested answers. You may have other sentences. No problem. Let's start. Some, the most important thing that some I can use with both. So you can relax. You can use both. There are some bananas in the supermarket, but can I say there is some coffee? No. Why? Answer me. Okay, you cannot answer because I cannot say there are for coffee because coffee is uncountable. I cannot use are with uncountable. No, there are no tomatoes in the fridge. No, I can use with both countable or uncountable. But if I want to use it with uncountable, what do I have to change here? For example, if I want to use here sugar, yes, I have to change R to S as it is uncountable. I cannot count. Much. How much salt should I add to the food? Can I use with salt many? No, much only with uncountable. Many. How many eggs do you need for the cake? Again, eggs countable. That's why we used many. Few. He has a few apples for the apple pie. Few, I use it only with countable. And if it's uncountable, I use little. Polly put little sugar in her mango juice yesterday. These are some suggested answers, and I want you to practice more using or writing the sentences with quantifiers to practice more. Thank you. End of our lesson today, and see you again in the next lesson. Thank you very much.